What's up, guys? My name is Chaotic, back at you guys with one today, coming at you guys with a video about taking acid and going to court. This is a crazy night when I took acid, and the next day I had a court date because of some bullshit that happened. I'm gonna get right into that, so hope you guys enjoyed this video and this gameplay of a Halo map in VR on multiplayer on Contractors. If you ever have that, you should download it, man, because they got some crazy mods that will work natively on the Oculus Quest 2. And the Quest 3 coming up this year. So honestly, I really do recommend that game. It's very fun. Alright, let's get to the video, man. So, this is just like every other night. I was hanging out with some friends. But in particular, this is going to be different, you know. Because I really wasn't expecting the trip. But one of them actually said they had acid, so, yeah. So, you know, it was just every other night, pretty much, up in this bitch. I was smoking weed, you know, with my friends, you know, have fun. But this time around, bro, this acid was crazy, okay? I had a court date the next day, and I was just so worried about that, okay? During the trip. Honestly, if you have something that's coming up like that, it's not a good idea to trip. Don't be tripping like that. Very bad idea. Anyways, so I got into, you know, want to take acid, I guess you could say. It wasn't just it wasn't just any other trip, though. This in particular hit me pretty hard, so I was actually going to court date, like, I'm still, like, tripping a little bit. Like, I swear I had, like, those crazy after effects, man. My ass was fucked up. But yeah, it was crazy. It was bad. It was very, very bad. So I also took a benzo this night as well. It had the weirdest effect on my body, man. It was fucked. So, you know, we're hanging out in our room, you know, and then this dude's girl, right? She's like, hey, I have acid, you know, you want to trip right now? You can trip right now for free. Like, I'll just give you a tab. I'm like, hell yeah. I'm actually really down to trip right now because I have a court date the next day. And I'd do anything to feel better over that. So I'm like, you know, I oblige. You know, I'm like, you know what? Let's do it, man. Let's pop this tab. You know, nothing's going to go wrong. You know, nothing did go wrong. But I would say it wasn't a great experience. Let's just say that. Now, the tab was looking pretty good. I don't even remember if it had, like, I don't know what pattern it was. It had some kind of pattern on it, so it was like a more genuine tab, you know, than just like white on white or something, or gel tab. It wasn't gel tab. Never actually taken gel tabs before, so don't know what that's like. Or even taken liquid LSD. So I still have some experiences to have, okay? But right now I have a lot of blotters, so I don't really need that shit. But anyways, yeah. So this is a blotter paper, little tiny square. It wasn't like a bigger square. It was like a, you know, like those actual tiny little squares of acid tab. Anyway, it was pretty strong. So I was just putting that on my tongue, you know, I was looking forward, you know, to the trip to kick in. And so, you know, for the next hour or two, I'm just pretty much sober, you know, right? It takes a little bit for that kick in. And yeah, after the hour mark, I start noticing it, of course. I start feeling tingly, you know, that shit starts coming up. I'm like, oh man, oh no, this is gonna be a lot stronger than I actually expected. And not only that, but acid lasts so long for me, at least, that, dude, I'm definitely tripping into the next day. There's no way I can really sleep from, that's also what happened. So I took it at night, so I didn't sleep before the court date. So I had to force my ass to go to the court date after tripping, and I was so tired. I mean, I just really want this shit to be over. So I was gone. So that shit kicks in, my ass starts getting those fractals, and I'm looking around with patterns in my eyes, okay? At this point, I'm like, you know what? I don't really feel that great. I want to take a benzo. Bad idea, okay? I don't know why I did that, but for some reason, it actually ended up making me feel uncomfortable, which makes no sense. It's supposed to bring down the trip, but it didn't. At that point, it doesn't even kill the trip. It just kind of dulls it, but it more than dulled it. So when I took this benzo, for some reason, I was getting, like, prickly feelings in my back. Like, it almost felt like I was getting stabbed by shit. And now that I think about it, I think it was mosquitoes. Because I think that night, I swear, I had mosquito bites. Actually, I'm tripping. See, this is how I don't even know what the hell's going on right now. Bro, I don't even know if it was mosquito bites or something that I was feeling. So that's how you know I was tripping. But I definitely had some mosquito bites. So it was a mix of, like, mosquito bites and, like, me feeling like my freaking skin was crawling. I don't know. Tripping and being on a benzo, like, almost because, like, your brain is coming up. It's like up and down at the same time. it felt really off, okay? Like, everything just felt really weird, man. I can't get it out of my head how the benzo almost ruins that experience. Like, you should really only ever take that with acid if you're really looking to come down, man. Because if you're still trying to enjoy your trip while taking that as well, man, I don't know if you're really going to be able to. You're not going to enjoy it enough. It completely actually removes the interest, like whatever acid causes in your brain for you to have these thoughts, these perspectives of life. Benzos completely erase it. You can't have any introspectiveness. You have absolutely no memory. I mean, you're losing memory right there too. Part of the trip is memory, so obviously if you're blocking that part of your brain a bit, the trip is not going to feel that wonderful to you. It's just, you're down-regulating neurotransmitters that are upregulated from the acid. So it's really not a good idea. You're not getting anything else out of it. Honestly, you'd be better off just do a canning flip, okay? Something else that can mix with acid and not kill the trip, okay? Just don't take benzos with psychedelics unless you're taking, like, I guess, a low dose. I swear I took at least a milligram or something of a Xanax, 2 milligrams. And whatever it was enough to fucking fuck with me, man. So if you are going to take something with acid to help, like, the trip, maybe if you really need trip, like, killers, to actually enjoy the trip, I don't know, man. That's up to you, man. You're going to risk it feeling weird. You're going to completely remove the psychedelia in almost every way. You're going to get the visuals still, but it's not going to feel amazing to you. It's not going to feel awesome. It's not going to feel like awe. Like the awe feeling is completely gone when you take benzos with acid or take benzos with probably shrooms or anything that's psychedelic, okay? Even ketamine. Benzos and ketamine, oh man, it completely deactivates ketamine. Benzos will actually even stop the ketamine highs. So yeah, it definitely stops psychedelic effects in your brain. Like almost all the way. To the point where if you take the benzo first and then you take acid, I swear you'll be having less visuals than if you took the benzo after the acid. You know what I mean? If it's first in your brain before you take a drug, you're more than likely going to have a lesser effect on whatever drug you're mixing with the benzo with. And it's really interesting how that happens, I notice. Except with opiates, they go hand in hand, they kind of increase the effects, but it's very dangerous. But I'm just saying, like, it's kind of interesting how benzos really do downregulate a lot of drugs. And it just makes it not fun. All right, this is not trying to be a video about that, okay? I was explaining the relationship between that. But, I did take a benzo, so, I mean, it does have something to do with the story. So, just keep that in mind if you're ever going to mix that stuff. So, yeah, I'm tripping, man. I'm just feeling myself. I'm feeling weird. I'm outside. I'm hearing frogs around me. Like, dude, it's crazy. So, I'm walking around my neighborhood. This is at night. I have a whole bunch of memories, of me doing Molly around this time. So, not only am I feeling weird, I actually had a bunch of anxiety. Because I used to do a whole bunch of drugs, right? Before this fucking stupid ass shit. So I really had anxiety trapped in my brain. So it was no wonder I was feeling weird and like strange, It just makes sense by now, I just really understand myself. So it's been enough time, I put the thought in. Now, honestly, the trip lasted the whole night again. The benzo didn't keep it didn't stop the duration of it. Like I said, I went the next day to jail, still tripped out, okay? I probably didn't, and I didn't sleep, like I said, so, yeah. If you don't sleep after a night of acid, you're definitely still tripping until you fall asleep. Like, I think it takes, yeah, like, it actually extends the effects. Like when you sleep it off. But if you can't sleep, your body can't sleep it out. So it's like, the effects are there, like, the whole entire time you're up until you fall asleep. So you could be tripping the whole entire day, probably until the night, even though you tripped the last night. Like, if you just stay up the whole time. So, my ass is going to jail. I mean, not jail, but, like, it felt like it, bro. I was weirded the hell out when I went to that court date the next day. And I pull up. I'm there. I take a lift there. I'm like, oh, man, this is annoying, dude. Now I have to sit down, in front of all these weird doors and shit for these, these court cases and stuff. I just didn't really like getting checked in, man. I didn't like being around any of that stuff, bro. I wanted to check out of that life, man. So good thing I never messed up again. I never had to go to do no other court date. Basically, what this was over, it was a fight I got into around January of like 4 years ago in 2019. So I had a court date for that. I had to get the case dismissed. I basically just showed the judge that I was not an alcoholic. They basically just brought me in and drunk taked me that night, man. And honestly, I barely fought that dude. I could have done way worse. So it wasn't that bad, but it was enough to get a court date. So I just got charged with, what is it? Something related in indecency. Like, it was, disorderly conduct. So basically indecency. Some charge that related to that, I could have been a lot better that night. Honestly, I was so drunk, I even took acid that night, and I freaked out, and I almost, because that dude was egging me on, so it was really his fault. He was egging me on, and I didn't want him in my house. I didn't want nobody in my house challenging me, bro. So, not good. Not good to be doing that, okay? And it's better to just walk away from something like that, okay? Not worth the getting court date over it. But yeah, man. Basically, taking a tab before court date is probably not the safest thing you could really do. Okay, harm reduction wise, don't ever do this. Because it may potentially, like, depending on what you have a court date about, right? If you're going to a government place, you probably want to be A tier, bro. You want to be on your shit. You do not want to have, hopefully a bad case, right? And specifically, you want to make sure you are, like, coherent enough. Now, I would say I was more coherent than doing any other drug, and not sleeping. But, it's not an end-all, be-all, man, for everyone, okay? Some people can't take this shit, can't handle it. But anyways, I don't know. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you guys stay high, stay lit. Peace out to the next one.